ascended skies, soaring to new heights and new understandings. Today, as you can hear, we have ascended winds, not ascended skies. Let's have a little look outside. It's usually a little cleaner than this. I'll just show you what the neighbors have across here. Look. Yeah. A little destruction. We're going to take a walk down the road and we're going to see a lot more. But before we do that, sadly, I'm not excited about it, but as far as video footage goes, it'll probably be good. I'm sure we won't find anybody injured. It's a mild storm, which is why we can take time to show you a few things. So we're just going to come down to here. And we're going to get down to the floor because we probably do a lot of crawling when we in rescue, so not a bad thing. Hello, Sirius. Don't bump that over, buddy. So here we are, as you can see, bright and orange. Now, that's the idea. If you're going to get into rescue or you're going to go out there, and let's just say, firstly, folks, you're not police, you're not trained, you're not fire brigade, you're not paramedics, you're not a cat. But what you are is a sovereign being, an independent citizen who can make choices for themselves. You know how to keep yourself warm, you know how to keep yourself dry, you know how to keep yourself safe. Surely by now most folk have gone and got, hello beauty, don't knock that over for me, buddy. Gone and got a first response certificate, or at least know a little bit of basic first aid. How to respond to somebody who's bleeding or broken. If you don't, here's a brief lesson. It's very simple. When you first respond, you get to somebody, there's two important factors. One, that they're not bleeding, because they'll bleed out. There's 7 liters of blood, or once it gets to 3, it's pretty much over at that point unless they get critical care. So you want to stop any bleeding. Very simple. Second, broken, breaks. Second B, BB, bleeding, broken. If you're broken, you can't move, and possibly the break is going to lead to a fracture, a skin break, and bleeding. First 2 questions when arriving on any critical scene, singular or multiple casualties, bleeding or broken. First question, are you bleeding or broken? Check yourself. Please, are you wet? Do you find any wetness? Alert me to it. Do you find any breaks? Alert me to it. Simple. Obviously you ask, do you have any pain? But bleeding, broken. First triage happens in 2 seconds. Are you bleeding or broken? No, move. Bleeding or broken? Move. Of course, the person who is the most critical is going to be the most silent one. So you want to be attending to the silent one physically, taking your actions, because you cannot be communicating with them, whilst communicating with your secondary patients, those that can talk, walk, seem like they're variably okay. In multiple casualties, that's how it happens. You need to go to the quiet ones first because they're obviously unconscious, possibly not breathing, possibly deceased, possibly need immediate attention. But just recalling it back to the softer, more civilian mode, the more residential response, which is what we are, R&R, residential response. What do you need to be? Firstly, you need to be safe. Secondly, you need to be warm. Thirdly, you need to be visible. And fourthly, you need to be equipped. Otherwise, you're just adding to the problem. Of course, with the equipment is a mental equipment of what to do and how to do it. So here's a few tips. We're not going to cover everything. There'll be better stuff to offer, and looking forward to that. Let's take it from here and let's help each other to prepare for What seems to be a growing concern in area of weather conditions and probably going to necessitate a civilian response more and more as the professional services become overwhelmed. So R&R, residential response, C&R, civilian response, whatever you like to call it, neighborhood watch, let's get together, let's look after let's look after each other and self. Let's do it through care, yeah? Care. The basic action of love is care, so just to care. It may sound a little bit soft for some, the word love and care, but trust me, when you're broken and bleeding, that's the only thing you want. That's when all the ego and hard shit goes out the window, and your voice goes from, what the fuck you looking at, to, help me. So please, folks, let's not be afraid to be vulnerable, and let's be real. We all need care and love. Don't care how hard you think you are. Here's how we give it in an emergency situation. We pitch up, safe, sound, visible, and prepared. Get yourself some high vis. It can be either this color or the yellow colors that you get. This is more the fire and rescue, and the yellow colors are more authoritative, more the police side. Get yourself a jacket like this. What is it? It's not a police jacket. It says security. Everybody has these jackets, what they call is component jackets. They carry everything you need. Comms, not only police use comms, all people who want to stay in communication use comms. Very simple. Get yourself a radio, learn how to switch it on and off, and know how to use it with your buddy, keep it charged, boom, you're there. Same with the body cam. Get yourself a body cam, switch it on and off, hands-free, easy. You've got all the footage and you got plug it in. It works like a body cam does. So links in very well with keeping a log of what's going on. From there, it's simple. That's your communication and your visuals. So you can log what's going on visually, and you can communicate with whoever you're working with. From there, it's just down to equipment. What do you need? In this case, we're going out into a hurricane. We might need to go into dark places, so we got torches. Make sure your torches work, fully functional. Make sure you switch them off before putting them away, otherwise they'll be flat. What else we got? Secondary torch, headlights, meaning not headlights in a van, but light for your head, hands-free lamps, extra hat, just in case somebody's cold that you find, they need a hat. Another headlight, just found it on, let's switch it off, otherwise it'll be flat. You got your red option there. So that's just lighting and hatting, extra lighting. You never know what you're going to come across, folks. You never know how many you're going to come across. You never know what you're going to need, who you're going to need, and how it's going to work. We'll put that away securely in a second. Switch over to here. You've got a laser. Lasers are excellent for attracting attention. I'm just going to shine it this way so it's not in your eyes. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to put it on the corner. Yeah, you can probably see the laser there anyway. Excellent for attracting attention, right into the sky if you're locked or stuck in a place or trapped in. And then of course go through a few knives, folks. Carry with you a multi-kit. There's a spanner and a multi-kit to get me out of any hassle. That's quite an advanced one. It's a bit a robust one. And of course we can go down to the small little pen knife. Just a sharp pen knife that's going to get you out of any hassle quickly. Snip your rope or cut anything that's locking you in. Just to think, folks, you know, it's just to think about what can happen out there and to try to be ahead of it. Because we're going out in a hurricane, things are going to need to be tied down. Things are going to be broken, so we've got strong gloves. Things may need to be broken, so we've got extra strong gloves for breaking glass. People may need to be shouted at or across to or for. So we've got a big voice called a loudhailer. And then of course we go into the bag. Very simply, we carry a first aid kit, extra jackets to make people safe, harbors immediately. You got your rope, comes in 1,000 times necessary, with some secure clips, your Kajak clips at the end, climbing clips, extra ropes, different kit for locking down stuff, especially because we're going out into sort of loose terrain at the moment, hurricane situation, so everything's going to need to be tied down, locked down, secured down. So those are good considerations. As soon as you come across your team out there, you've got extra comms. So as you probably see, I've got 3 comms, 3 vests. I've got a team of 4 that I can set up in seconds in high-vis and all connected with comms, so we can do some teamwork, which is usually necessary out there. If you come across the right people, you can get it on. You can be effective as a team rapidly. So that's your basic kit, very simple. You can take it up from there. You can have more kit, less kit, depending on how long you're going out for. You can stick in rations, etc. But as you see, this bag's full, and it's only a one-day bag. I'm just going to go out for a couple of hours as soon as it's safe to do so, and just see that everybody's safe on the beachfront, because we've got high tide in an hour, we've got 8-meter waves, and the beachfront usually gets flooded at high tide with winds without 8-meter waves, with only 1-meter waves or no waves at all. So we're imagining we're going to have serious flooding, and of course, due to that serious flooding, we'll probably have some people needing simple assistance, civilian assistance, just to move from place to place, get them to safety, get them unwet, uncold. They're not used to being uncomfortable. They may need standard assistance to get water out the house, or who knows what's we're gonna find out there. But that's what the body cam's for. We'll stick it on as we go out, and we'll document everything. And as I say, you've seen a taste of our back garden, but it's very protected and mild. I'm sure as we go out front, it's going to become astonishing. But I'll do so as it's safe to do so. Folks, never go out as a civilian on your CR watch or your residential your residential watch, your residential rescue, your civilian rescue, unless it's safe to do so. Otherwise, you can become a statistic, and you're just going to piss off the emergency services. You're not going to appear as an assistance. You're going to appear as a pain in the arse, which is not what you're trying to do. You're trying to be a sovereign residential assistance. And I say this now, folks, because it's quite obvious that we have the rising tide, I nearly said. We have the rising geoengineering problem, whether you accept it as geoengineering or climate change, or whatever you like to call it, depending on your understanding. We have weather issues, and the weather is becoming a little more predominantly violent, aggressive, strong, forceful, unpredictable, etc. So it's probably necessary for all and sundry in life to be kitted up and to be ready in some formal manner. And as I said, folks, I haven't covered everything here. I've just given you the very basics of what you can throw on. Obviously, I never mentioned the lower part. You have your trousers and, of course, welly boots. A very important part. If you have your wellies, you can be successful up to 1 foot of water or so, whereas if you don't, you can't be very useful. Also, wellies being rubber, they can stop all those snags and cuts that you'd pick up in trainers. And of course, your wellies are very open as you know, wellies are very loose here. So you have space to carry what I find crucial to be carried in survival situations. Coming from being a rescue diver, as all rescue divers know, you will never ever go down without one of these. So always have this on you, folks. If you're going to rescue, you need to be equipped. It's not a criminal offence to carry this if you're carrying it safely in your boot and going out to rescue. I'm sure anybody would understand. In any other situation, yes, criminal offence immediately, according to legislation. It's not accurately criminal, but so be it. It's legislative, statute, or actual, I'm sure. But the fact is, folks, boots on. Make sure your trousers are over your boots so the water runs down and off, and your inner trousers are inside your boot, well inside, so that they don't get wet at the bottom and start to pull water, capillate water up and make you cold. Folks, as soon as you get cold and wet, you're going to be looking for assistance. You may become hypothermic yourself, and it's useless. You need to stay dry, safe, warm, mentally active, aware, and physically helpful. That's kind of what we need to be doing out there as public, sovereign citizens. We don't need to call ourselves citizens nor public. We can just call ourselves sovereign human beings. That is your natural status. You are a sovereign human being. Simply a soul walking in a flesh suit. A little reflective today. Folks, we need to start to look after each other, because the situation is becoming larger and the rescue services are not keeping up pace. They can't. They don't have the ability or facility. So we need to take things into our own hands and take care of ourselves as sovereign human beings and look after all other sovereign human beings, meaning our friends, family, and extended brothers and sisters, the human race. Those around us, in a very real way. A neighborhood watch is a very good idea, folks. A group in every neighborhood who knows each other and make sure that everybody knows each other and knows what to do in a situation like today, so that they can be helpful and take pressure off for the emergency services. Often, folks, the emergency services are needing to be called. They have a time to respond. When you're the next door neighbor, you're there already. Everybody is usually there before the emergency services. So if you know how to be an emergency responder, you can be very helpful. Ascended skies, soaring to new heights and new understandings. Less wind. I'm sure we'll be all right. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. Be safe.